having a more advanced system. And then the institution people have to collect the money on time. Why? Because so let's say the fishermen got 100 on their first selling, and then we can cut like 20 or 30 from their pay. So we get the money, cash. That's answered question number 2 and number 3. Thank you. Another one in my group want to add things? Thank you.
One minute. In Indonesia?
After this occurred, the next step is not treating the fisherman as the lender, but as the collector, where at the end, the member of the fisherman in the institution doesn't save the money in the local Sharia bank, but the interest will be saved in the Islamic microfinance institution. So the fund will be top up in this institution, and this institution can expand. So it will be from us, to us, and by us.
Oke, untuk tim berikutnya.
For the next team.
Only 1 minute.
Oke, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Karena tadi ada yang menggunakan bahasa, saya coba menggunakan bahasa biar bisa menyampaikan idenya dengan baik. The first problem in the fishery, kita berpikir apakah about technology, tools, or both, not. Tapi ini semua masalah berasal dari paradigma. Pernah dengar lele-lela? Nah, kita ambil kasus lele-lela. Lele-lela itu yang punya, itu dia tidak punya kolam lele sama sekali. Dia bilang, dia cerita waktu ikut Young Entrepreneur Mandiri, semua pedagang lele, semua yang punya kolam lele, nanam bareng-bareng. Supply demand dong, supply tinggi, harga jatuh, demand tetap. Akhirnya petani lele gagal. Ya udah, si yang punya lele cuma nyuruh, Bapak nanti nanam lele bulan ini, Bapak nanti nanam lele bulan ini. Nah, akhirnya kita punya ide simple. Biarkan perusahaan besar masuk ke dalam nelayan. Kenapa? Karena kondisinya nelayan itu sendiri ujung-ujungnya dia nanti dicegat tengah pasar. Masuk tengah pasar terus gimana? Bukan di pinggir pantai terus ada yang beli.
So at the end, the fishermen in Lampung, they will be sold in Jakarta, and they will not, the restaurant will buy, say just those middlemen. So this is very important, and this is a problem. So we need that the big companies should cooperate with the fishermen. They should cooperate and not to be occupied or not to be, so there should be a cooperation. So it is hoped that all those fishermen can improve their productivities, because in cases of some countries, there's no country which got a big fisheries are done by small fisheries, because they don't do business, but they do things in a traditional way. So at the end, in Indonesia, the biggest occupation is coming from Thailand, 10,000 per kilos, whereas the catfish in Indonesia is only 20,000 per kilo in pecel lele. It's a plate of Indonesian. It's not coming from Indonesia, but the catfish coming from Thailand. So this is the experience of one company as an alumni in Bandung, e-fishery, and it is his story. So what we propose here is let big companies come, but they should be regulated so that they can cooperate and not occupy. And we just leave the expansion of this small fishermen to coordinate with, to cooperate with bigger companies. So these companies also have their interest. So from this interest, they will make it flourish for the fisheries. So the fisheries also has to take benefit of this. So this company will train those small fishermen to improve their quality. There will be sharing of knowledge. And so the last thing is the role of the government should be more conducive. So we should let the Indonesian companies to come, so there will not be a capital outflow. So those funds will stay and come back in Indonesia. So there's a different ID. We work with microfinancing, and here what we did here is regarding the tools, but also about paradigm, as I mentioned previously. So
Hoping that by cooperate with big company, we can cut the brokers from the fishermen to the fruit producer. As we know that in Indonesia, if we eat a fish, it's not through one or two brokers or merchant, but maybe 5 or 6, so that the price of the fish is increased highly. So by doing this, we hope that the price can be for fishermen. We hope that their sales can be increased and the price can be lower, so that we can get quality fish with a lower price. And by this, after that, by cooperate with big company, we also hope that the education of the fishermen can be also increased, so they can use the mobile apps technology to predict the weather, the price trend, or etc. I think that's all.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. So cooperation with the big companies and how to leverage from them, and also how to do the collaboration with the microfinance. Okay, so for the next team, Team D, on how to give the financial education.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. I'm the representative of Group D. So basically, starting from the challenge of financial education itself is lack of knowledge. Like, for example, basic knowledge of accounting, because maybe they don't graduate from the good school, maybe just elementary school or junior high school. That's why they lack of basic knowledge, and therefore they don't even know about government regulation about financial thing and so on. And basically they have low income, because this low income actually means that, okay, I don't have to have advanced financial planning. So this is the second reason. And the third one is bad habit. This bad habit can be a challenge for educating them, because bad habit, for example, like smoking. Okay, I prefer to buy cigarettes instead of saving money. And then there are no initiatives taken to educate the fishermen, either formally or informally, voluntarily or involuntarily. And there is no awareness of technology at the moment, because we can imagine that fishermen in Indonesia are very, very ordinary. And then there are limited financial product by FEs, so there is no penetration of financial education management there. So how to educate them is basically we build also the education curriculum, like the subject and how is the method. And we can embrace the community of fishermen there. So basically this is kind of easily to teach them in a group. And then after that is increasing financial literacy. It can be done from school, junior high school. For these things start from early age, they already know about this. We also try to educate them through mobile phone, such as making application, but if the mobile phone is not that really sophisticated, then maybe through SMS or this thing. And after that, there is also educating them by embracing the social interaction in the fisher environment. Maybe this is happened in Indonesia only, where there is, for example, arisan of the ibu-ibu, of the woman there, and then at the same time, we can educate them. And then there is incentive for a financial institution who, for example, provide products or training for them, for the fishermen. Like, for example, I found microfinance in Indonesia, so they give this financial planning to the customers or nasabah. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, thank you for all of the teams. Let me wrap up. I think I'll speak in bahasa for the wrap up. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu sekalian.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have heard a lot from A, B, C, and D about the communities, the community-based, whether it is from the fishermen. But I think this is very important for the business challenge, and we have talked previously. So this is a point that could be used, which can be reinforced to improve the level of living of the fishermen in Indonesia, and also the cooperation with big companies, which is also aspect worth mentioning here. So we come back using microfinance, a community-based approach in education, and to get more information. Thank you very much, and I think we'll give a little bit of sharing, but because of time, maybe it will be very quick. So if you have questions, you can ask me directly or Muhammad for further answers. Muhammad, you have the floor.
Yeah, and the next one. And the next one. And keep going. Keep going. That's fine. Yeah, if you just stop there, just go back. Thank you. So thank you very much, everybody, for the brainstorming and the hard work that you've done in the last 40 to 45 minutes. There is really a very, very valid reason for doing this thinking today, because in Indonesia today, we are on the cusp of a real economic and social revolution with the uptake of technology, because technology uptake now is growing more rapidly than it ever has in our history. And that's evidenced by the fact that smartphone connections are growing faster than ever before, as indeed is internet penetration. So internet penetration today is a third of the population of Indonesia, and smartphone penetration is growing at the rate of approximately 2 to 3 million additional smartphone connections every month. And that means that more and more people are now becoming capable of accessing the internet. And for those reasons, the points that we've been discussing today about how can we improve the lives of Indonesian fishermen is actually very, very, very relevant. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So with that, and with moving on to the next part of our program, I'd like to thank you very much for participating in the discussions that we had today about financial inclusion and about the challenges that we can address to help improve the lives of Indonesian fishermen, which is what we've been doing for the last 1.5 hours. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Chowdhury and Mr. Jeffrey Kusnadi. It was a real pleasure to have you amongst us. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have amongst our midst His Excellency Mr. Anies Baswedan, Minister of Education and Culture of Indonesia. We also have the Vice President of IDB, Mr. Said Aka. So without further ado, I would like to call His Excellency Mr. Anies Baswedan on stage to deliver a few remarks.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Vice President of IDB, Dr. Said Aka, Dr. Andin Hadianto, Dr. Isa Rahmatar Wata, Zaki Mansur, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor to be invited to attend this important gathering. It was a few weeks ago when I received the letter of invite to participate in these meetings of youth in development, innovative solutions for financial inclusions. So I told myself, inshallah, I will come. This morning I was in Palembang to attend the opening ceremony of OSN. In Indonesia we call it the Olympic Science Olympiad for students, a National Science Olympiad in Palembang, and then come directly to Jakarta so that I can join this very important gathering this afternoon. For us, it is indeed. I am now serving in the government in the area of education and culture. And part of our challenge is to prepare our next generations to be able to participate effectively in the 21st century. The challenge we have today is tremendous. Our kids, our children, these are 21st century children. The teachers, all of us, were 20th century teachers. And the classroom that we are teaching is 19th century classrooms. We are now dealing with challenge that is tremendous. Now, part of our endeavor is to make sure that we're able to provide a platform that enable everyone to participate in the 21st century economy. And what is required? And inshallah, this very forum provide that opportunity. About 2 months ago, the World Economic Forum produced a report that summarized those challenges, which indeed we also discuss it here in Indonesia for quite some times. We have undergone a curriculum revise. We have undergone reform in our teaching, in our teachers' trainings. And when it comes to anticipating the future, this report summarized quite nicely. Number one, that was required, 1 out of 3. Number one is what they called characters, which we always also underline characters. What is characters here? What do we mean by characters? 2 components. 1 is moral characters. 2 is performance characters. What is moral characters? Honesty, integrity, iman, taqwa. All of that are moral characters. On the other hand, you have a performance characters. Endurance, curiosity, leadership, entrepreneurship. All of them are in the columns of performance characters. Those are the first pillar that we need to ensure that our next generations were equipped with. Number 2 is what is often called as 21st century learning skills. What are they? 4C. Number 1 is critical thinking. Number 2, creativity. Number 3, communication skill. Number 4, collaborations. The 4C that is often echoed here and there is what needed for our future, especially among the Muslims. Sad to say, we are among those who are not paying enough attention on developing critical thinking, allowing creativity to grow. And this is the challenge of the Muslims across the globe, especially those who are living in the developing area. So that is the second columns that we would like to have. The third column is literacy. And literacy here means the 3R that's always being the focus of education for many decades. Read, write, arithmetics. Those are the 3R that we have been paying attention. And majority of our educations, especially in the Muslim majority nations, we're paying so much attention on the 3R but not on the 4C. But on top of the 3R, the literacy that is needed is financial literacy, information technology literacy, literacy on culture, literacy on citizenship. So, what we mean by the third pillar, talking about literacy, it's not only about reading, it's not only about writing, it's not only about arithmetic, but it is also about financial. And this very forum is addressing that third pillar of financial literacy. These forums provide an opportunity, I hope for us, to learn about what's needed by our youth. What are the issues that our youth were facing? Some of the issues that we need to address, where among them are, do young people need financial services? Do they really need one? And if they do, does financial access benefit young people? The immediate answer would be yes, but what kind? What do we know about the business case for providing financial services to the young people? And how do we create conducive regulations, policy environments for the greater financial inclusions of the young people? Those are among few questions that I do hope this very gathering we're addressing, and also provide a platform for sharing. We know in the area of education, to improve the quality of our service, what's needed is not rules. It's not additional regulations. What's needed is creating an education ecosystem. I often ask Dr. Syed, Aka, I often ask our colleague in the ministry simple questions. If our education quality is half of our neighbors, are we violating any law, any rules and regulations? And the answer is no. When the quality of education is low, we're not breaking any rules and regulations. Nope. Education's quality improves when we are able to create an education ecosystem where the recipients of education demand more. We had a survey a few years ago, and the survey came back with a result that more than 70% of Indonesians feel happy or very happy with our education services. Yet, we often feel we're not providing good enough education services. Yet, 70% of our populations were saying they're happy or very happy. How do we explain this? The answer lies not on whether or not we have provided quality educations. The answer lies upon expectations. When expectations is low, satisfaction is easy. When expectation is high, then satisfaction is difficult. If the expectation is low, even receiving a minority or small portions of a quality education, then people will be satisfied. And I think that is one of our challenges. So with regard to financial inclusions of the youth, I often also think that we also need to create an ecosystem that will allow stakeholders, individuals, institutions to participate, to interact, And now we're living in the world where when we're talking about organizations, we're talking about engagement, then it is no longer centralized. Engagement is no longer centralized. Engagement is now very much decentralized. Individuals, institutions can interact one another. This is what I often call that we are transforming our educations from a programmatic approach into a movement approach that allows all parties to get involved. We are transforming from an encyclopedia model into a Wikipedia model. An encyclopedia model is a centralized model in which the government invited best expert, define all solutions, and then provide it to the people. Now government should step up, not only providing. In fact, the provisions of services continues. However, we have to enlarge rooms for public engagement, public participations, new ideas, and so forth. And we're heading into that directions. And for our colleagues, our friends coming from outside Indonesia, I would like also to share, this is a land of opportunity. We often in Indonesia, we inside often fail to recognize our opportunity. So allow me to share a little bit. This is a land of opportunity which often absent in many worlds. In this archipelago, there are no less than 719 languages spoken by its populations and spoken by 254 million individuals living in 6,000 islands, comprised of 416 ethnic groups. Very rare we found nations across the globe as diverse as Indonesia. And yet, we're united. Two components that often mentions as the uniting factors. Number one is language. We had agreed upon a common language, 1928, 17 years before independence. Our common language was not decreed through constitutions, rules, regulations, no, but it was the youth that come together, agreed to adopt one common language, and that one common language was not the language of the majority people. In fact, it was the language of the minority. It was a breakthrough that glued these nations together until today. And inshallah, for the infinite, inshallah, we'll pray for that. But this is a rare case. You go across the globe, even when you come to European Union, there are 28 countries come together, form a union called European Union. And their common language, their official language is 24. So everyone speaks through translators. For us, when we have gathering, we need no translators. When we have even conflicts and we come together to negotiation tables, we need no translator for the people to come together to agreement. And that has provided a very strong foundations for Indonesia, not only to have unity, not only to have union, but we also have unity. So that is something that we'd like to share. And with regard to our youth, we still have a lot of challenge. Our student populations is around 57 million in total. And if we index, Indonesia always ranked the lowest in almost every standardized international scores. If you are seeing a PISA result, Indonesia is among the lowest. If you're seeing TIMSS result, Indonesia is among the lowest. Are we that bad? I would like to share, yes, whenever this big country is indexed, our score is always low. If you index India, the score will also be low. If you index China, your score will always be low. If you index Brazil, the score will always be bad. But if we take the proportions, let's take 25% of best Indonesian students. 25% out of 57 million is about 13 million. 13 million students of Indonesia who are best students, they are double the populations of Singapore. They are more than all students in Malaysia. They have more than all students compromise. If you total students in Southeast Asia, suddenly the number is different. What is the issue here? The point is, I would like to share, is in this land, yes, we have internal disparities, but we do not have international disparities. These are the students that will be engaging with your institutions in the future. Our challenge is to bridge the gap between the 25% and the 75%. That's our job. But if you're coming here, you will be dealing with the students. And the youth who are here, I almost guarantee they are among the top 25% of our students when they were a student. Inshallah. If I see a smile, it means approval. That's, inshallah, they're among the 25% of our students. You will be dealing with this top 25%, and it also imply how the world have changed. In the past, we're dealing with the issue of international achievement disparities or between countries disparities. Now what we are facing is internal disparities. And I hope that sort of give you a flavor that actually this is a land where the foundations for modern democracy, for economic growth was made long ago. So when a lot of people ask why Indonesia have democracy, the foundation was not made recently. It was made long ago. And now we're enjoying that with the foundations of unity, union, and the quality of human capital that we try now to do. With that, I do hope that this conference allows many of our youth to learn and to be able to share some of their accomplishments. We have seen a lot of young Indonesians able to create breakthrough in the area of business that is often unexpected. We often feel that breakthrough that they made have enabled us to feel confidence about our futures. And inshallah, those youth who have made breakthrough, who have created new platform in their business, learn together through this seminar, through this gathering. So with that, I would like to express my appreciations to the Islamic Development Bank for organizing the IDB group meeting, the 41st annual meeting here in Jakarta, and especially for organizing meetings for the youth. And inshallah, this will benefit not only of those who are coming all the way to Jakarta, but also to our fellow Indonesians who are participating in this forum. And with expressing Alhamdulillah, I now officially close this seminar. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Anis Masvidan. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of this 5th Youth Development Seminar of the IDB. We would like to thank you for your participation. We would like to thank the organizers of this event for their support throughout the organization of this seminar. And we would like to give you notice that this event is an annual event, and we look forward to seeing you for the next Youth Development Seminar. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, and then I have to watch here, or do I have maybe to use my own computer? I won't see here. So. Is it too? Can I see well? No, what I can do is just to open my computer. Yes. I think the final version is. I don't think I'll take it.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. But you have case?
In case. Okay. I don't see, yes.
Sudan.
Okay. Open.
Oh my God.
Okay, cool.
Me too, me too.
If I leave it.
No, leave it there. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's anywhere you like.
Do you have a
You can, you may choose. Have the presentation. At the same time. You may introduce them all at the same time. Their names and then. But then from here or it's up to you. Stand or you can stand. Maybe stand, maybe.
Yellow, the second one
I
is,
prefer standing.
the first one is,
Aisha, we can stand. You can stand. Or you can.
Okay.
Abda. Abda. My first name is Abda. El Mahdi. Surname is El Mahdi. Aisha. Bahia Aisha.
Instead of C, you put S.
I already marked it. It's not here. Is it? Abda.
Yes.
First.
Yes. Yes. Correct.
Smiling one is me.
I'm also smiling.
But I smile all the time.
Yes, you do.
I'm a grandma.
16 and a half.
Yes. Don't forget.
They're waiting for you. Yes.
Most honorable and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in particular our panelists who are already in front of you. And as you can see, we have 2 ladies and 1 gentleman. That's equality and partnership. We are all, I'm sure all of us, are eager to listen to what they are all going to say to us about Islam and women. First, I will not tell you much about that because we will have very distinguished ladies and one gentleman to tell us. Number one,